Welcome to the Audio Travel Guide. Today, we're heading to a city that often gets overshadowed by its more famous neighbors.
It really does. I mean, when you think of France, your mind goes to Paris for romance, or maybe the Riviera for the glamour.
Exactly. But this place, Lyon, it's something different. It's sort of the archetype of the heritage city.
It is. It's France's third largest city, capital of the whole Rhône Alps region, and it sits right at this incredible strategic point between northern and southern Europe.
And that's what we want to get into today. We're going to explore its 2,000-year history, from a Roman capital all the way to, believe it or not, the birthplace of cinema.
And we have to talk about the architecture. Specifically, these secret passageways they call Traboules. They completely change how you experience the city.
Right, and of course the food. I mean, you can't talk about Lyon without talking about why it's called the world's capital of gastronomy.
We'll even explain what a bouchon really is.
And we'll give you all the practical tips, how to navigate the hills, the rivers, the whole system.
So, to really understand Lyon, you have to start with the geography. The city is literally shaped by its water.
It really is. You've got two massive rivers running north to south, the Rhône on the east and the Saône on the west.
And that's pretty unusual. Most cities get one river, Lyon gets two, running almost parallel. And that little strip of land in between, the Presqu'île or peninsula, that's the heart of the city.
What's amazing is the preservation. I was reading that, unlike Paris, which got that huge Haussmann redesign.
Right. Flattened and rebuilt.
Yeah, Lyon just kept everything.
That is the absolute key to the city. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but not for just one building. It's for its continuity. They never had a massive fire or a disaster that wiped the slate clean.
So you can literally see history stacked on top of itself.
Exactly. You can stand there and see Roman ruins, turn your head and see a Renaissance palace, and then look across the river to a brand new, ultra-modern skyscraper. It's all part of the same fabric.
It feels very dynamic, very young. There's a huge student population. But the backdrop is just ancient. And something else the sources mentioned was the light.
At night.
Oh, the lighting. Yeah, that's no accident. Lyon has an official plan Lumière, a lighting plan. They treat the city's nightscape like a work of art.
So it's not just about streetlights.
Not at all. It's about drama. They illuminate the major monuments, the university buildings along the Rhône, the bridges. A simple walk at night feels like you're in a theater.
So before we walk the neighborhoods, let's just get a bit of history. Where did it all begin?
It all starts with the Romans. 43 BC, they founded a settlement called Lugdunum.
Lugdunum.
And it wasn't just some small outpost. It was the capital of the Gauls. It was a major administrative hub for the Roman Empire.
So it's been important for a long, long time.
Consistently.
Yeah.
It went from a Roman center to a hub for banking and printing in the Renaissance. And then in the 19th century, it became this industrial powerhouse because of silk.
The silk trade.
And that industry really defined the layout of the city, which we'll get into. Okay, so let's break down that layout. The locals have these nicknames for the hills, which I think is a great way to orient yourself.
Yes, you've got the hill that prays and the hill that works.
Let's start with the praying. That would be Fourvière on the west side.
Correct. Fourvière is the spiritual heart of the city. It's where the Romans first settled, but now it's just completely dominated by the Basilica of Notre-Dame de Fourvière. It's this massive white church you can see from almost anywhere.
Okay, so that's the praying hill. Then to the north, you have Croix-Rousse,
The hill that works.
home of the silk workers, the Canuts.
And this is where the architecture tells the story. The apartments in Croix-Rousse have incredibly high ceilings.
Like 4 meters high, right? 12 feet?
Exactly. And that wasn't for luxury. It was purely practical. They needed all that vertical space to fit the enormous jacquard looms they used for weaving silk. The buildings were designed around the machines.
And the neighborhood still has a bit of a rebel vibe, I hear.
It does. The Canuts had famous revolts in the 1800s. That independent spirit never really left. Today, it feels like its own little village. Very bourgeois, bohemian.
Okay, so we have the two hills. In between them, caught between the two rivers, is the Presqu'île.
The peninsula, yeah. That's the city's heartbeat. Shopping, dining, nightlife. It's where you'll find Place Bellecour, which is just this vast, vast open square.
And then there's Vieux, Old Lyon.
Along the west bank of the Saône, that's the Renaissance district. It's incredible, and it was almost demolished in the 1960s for a highway project.
No way.
Yeah, it was saved and became a protected landmark. Now it's this perfectly preserved maze of cobblestone streets.
And then finally, the super modern part is down south.
The Confluence district, it used to be all industrial prisons and markets. Now it's full of these wild contemporary buildings. It's like the city's vision of the future.
All right, map in our heads. Let's talk experience. If you're on the ground, what's the one thing you absolutely have to understand to get Lyon?
The Traboules, 100%.
So explain what a Traboule actually is. It's more than just an alleyway.
Much more. A Traboule is a covered passageway that cuts directly through a building, through its courtyard, to connect one street to the next parallel street.
So you walk into what looks like a normal apartment building door.
Right, you go down a corridor, cross an open-air courtyard, go through another door, and boom, you're out on a different street.
And these had a purpose. They weren't just for fun.
No, it goes back to the silk. To protect the valuable bolts of fabric from the rain, the workers used this network of passages to get from their workshops on the hill down to the merchants by the river.
But they became really important later on, didn't they?
This is the amazing part. During World War II, Lyon was the capital of the French resistance, and these Traboules were their secret weapon.
Of course.
The resistance members knew the maze like the back of their hand. They could disappear from one street and reappear blocks away without ever being seen by the Gestapo, who were completely lost in them. The city's architecture was part of the rebellion.
That's incredible. So you can still visit them.
You can, mostly in Vieux and Croix-Rousse. But there are rules, a strict etiquette.
Because people actually live there.
Exactly. These are their homes. You'll see signs asking for silence. So you go in the morning when they're open, you press the service button, and you whisper, it's a privilege to see them.
Okay, from the hidden to the very, very visible. Let's go back up Fourvière Hill to that basilica.
It's distinctive. Some locals say it looks like an elephant that's fallen on its back with its feet in the air.
I can kind of see that.
The four towers are the legs, but the real reason you go up there, beyond the church itself, is the panoramic viewpoint right next to it. You see everything. And on a clear day, you can even see Mont Blanc.
And right there, you also have the Roman theaters.
Which is just wild. A 19th century basilica next to a theater from 15 BC. And they're not just ruins, they still use them for a huge summer festival, the Nuit de Fourvière.
Lyon also seems to have this thing for painting its walls. The murals are famous.
The Trompe-l'œil, yeah.
Yeah.
The optical illusions. There are about 100 of them. The most famous is the Mur des Canuts, the Wall of the Silk Workers. It's a huge painting of a neighborhood scene.
And they update it, which is the coolest part.
Yes. Every 10 years or so, the artists come back and age the people in the painting. It's a living work of art.
Speaking of art, we have to mention the movies.
Because they were invented here. Not Hollywood, not Paris, Lyon. In 1895, the Lumière brothers filmed the very first motion picture. You can visit the Lumière Institute in their old family home.
Okay, we've covered a lot. But now we have to eat. For so many people, Lyon is food.
It's been called the capital of gastronomy since 1935, and it doesn't take that title lightly, but it's not all about fine dining. It's really about the Bouchon.
Right. So what is a Bouchon? What makes it different from just any other restaurant?
A true Bouchon is a specific tradition. They were originally run by female cooks, the mères, or mothers who cooked for the silk workers. So the food is hearty, it's fuel, it's served in a noisy, friendly, cramped setting, big portions, no fuss.
But you have to be careful of tourist traps.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in Vieux. The key is to look for the official plaque. It's a metal plate with a picture of a puppet on it and the words, Authentique Bouchon Lyonnais. That's your seal of approval.
Let's talk menu, because it's not for the faint of heart.
It's very nose to tail. The classic starter dish is the quenelle de brochet. It's a light, fluffy dumpling made of pike, served in this rich crayfish sauce. It's delicious and a safe bet.
Okay, now for the advanced course, the andouillette.
The andouillette, okay. So, it's a sausage made of chopped tripe, pig intestines. It has a very powerful, earthy aroma. Locals adore it. For visitors, it can be a challenge.
And what about the dish called siltworker's brain?
Cervelle de canut. Sounds scary, but it's actually just fresh cheese. It's a dip made from white cheese whipped with garlic, herbs, and vinegar. The name's a local joke. It's fantastic.
And for dessert?
It's got to be pink. The tarte à la praline. It's a tart filled with crushed almonds in a bright pink sugar coating. It is intensely sweet and wonderful.
And we have to give a nod to the culinary godfather of Lyon, Paul Bocuse.
The Pope of French cuisine. His influence is everywhere. You must visit the indoor food market, Les Halles de Lyon Paul Bocuse. It's where all the city's chefs get their supplies. A temple to food.
And to drink with all this.
Well, you're right between two great wine regions, Beaujolais and the Rhône Valley. In a Bouchon, you order a pot.
A pot.
Yep. It's a special, heavy-bottomed bottle that holds exactly 46 centiliters. It's the traditional way to order wine.
Okay, practicals. The city is hilly. How do you get around?
The public transport system, the TCL, is excellent. There are 4 metro lines, but for the hills, you want the funiculars.
The facelle, they call them. The strings.
Exactly. 2 of them climb Fourvière Hill. They are essential. Take the funicular up, see the sights, and then enjoy a nice walk down.
And on the flat ground?
Biking. The Volov bike share system is fantastic. The riverbanks, especially along the Rhône, have these amazing paths. It's the best way to see the city.
Is it generally a safe city?
Very safe, yes. Just use common sense. Watch for pickpockets in the super crowded parts of Vieux, but on the whole, it's very manageable.
And if you're planning on seeing a lot of museums...
Get the Land City card. It includes all public transport, the funiculars, museums, even a boat tour. It's really good value if you're there for a few days.
So, to sum it all up, Lyon really isn't a city you just pass through.
No, not at all. It's a city that rewards you for getting lost. Whether you're in a Traboules or a food market or wandering through Roman ruins, it has this incredible depth, but on a really human, accessible scale.
It sounds like a place where you really have to participate, not just look.
Exactly. It's immersive. You'll leave feeling very, very full in every sense of the word.
If this deep dive has you curious about more of France, you should check out our other guides, especially our episode on French food culture, or our tour of the wider Rhône Alps region.
There's always another layer to explore.
This has been the Audio Travel Guide.